man. And it's the last one, of course. Of course, it's the last one where all kinds of things. Take a sip of my Sprite. Oh, that reminds me, I've got to change something around. But yeah, this is the last live stream ever. Well, hopefully not ever. Hopefully not ever. But it's the last live stream that is scheduled. Had a good run of scheduling live streams once a week. Before that, I think I was doing 2 or 3 times a week. I think it's 3 times a week at one time. Yo, what up, Chairman? Chairman in the house. What? But yeah, I was live streaming 3 times a week at one time, then maybe 2 times a week at other times. Then it was once a week for the past while, but now it's time to say goodbye to the scheduled live streams. Hopefully I can still do some impromptu live streams from time to time as and when. But yeah, as life happens, things change. It's time to say goodbye to the scheduled live streams. Let me turn this light off actually, because I might be blinding people. So let me do that. There's nobody in front of me right now, but you know. But how you doing, Chairman? How's your day going? How's your day been? Appreciate you joining this last scheduled live stream. Let me put this away and ting. Not bad. That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Oof. Yeah. I mean, my day's been all right still, though. I mean, I was working, so it ended up being later than planned. Last job took longer than estimated because they one guy, well, I think a couple of people, there's a few people in the car, and I think a couple of them needed to use the toilet. I was like, cool, there's a McDonald's up ahead, we could just stop there for a bit. And they were like, yeah, cool, do you mind if you get some food while we're there? I was like, yeah, no problem. But yeah, they were there for a little bit, get some food. But it did get me a drink, so I can't be mad. They got me a Sprite, a large Sprite as well. Just realized it's a large Sprite, not even a regular Sprite. So it's like, that's cool. Can't be mad at that. Appreciate when people get you free food. Yeah, that's mostly been my day. What else? Been watching an anime called Delicious in Dungeon. I was watching the episode of it last night, but I was tired when I was watching it, so I was kind of in and out a little bit, in and out of consciousness a little bit. And when I got to the end of the episode, I was kind of thinking, did I miss something important? I'm not sure. Did I miss something important? But I thought, nah, it's calm. I think I could, whatever I've missed, I could probably figure it out by the next episode. But I watched the next episode this morning, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to watch the previous episode again, because I feel like I've missed something pretty vitally important by just being, you know, because when you're watching like a movie or a show, or whatever, when you're tired and your eyes close a little bit, and it feels like your eyes are only closing for like a second or two, but you're probably drifting off for like 5, 6, 7 minutes or something like that without realizing. Just like, I was like, it's kind of like that. So, you know, I might need to watch that last episode again, because I feel like I really feel like I've missed something pretty vitally important. So before I continue, maybe go back and be like, catch myself up a bit. But the show's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. It's like 24 episodes long, and about 25 minutes each episode. So it's not super long, but it's you know, quite a meaty thing still. Quite a meaty thing still. But yeah, Delicious in Dungeon on Netflix. If you want to watch it, so far I'd recommend it. I'm about halfway through right now, or maybe a little over halfway through. But the show that everybody's been talking about, of course, is Adolescence. I don't know if you heard of that show or not, but There's this new show called Adolescence. I think it started a few weeks ago, like 3-4 weeks ago, maybe. I haven't got around to watching it yet, but I've been hearing lots of good things about it. Apparently it's really in-depth, really intense. It's not very long. It's only like a few episodes, like 4 episodes, I think, something like that. I know it's not very long anyway. I have to try and make time for that. But there's so many things I'm trying to watch though. So many. So much time. No, not so much to do, not enough time. You know, this is a nice drink. I did hear somewhere that McDonald's Sprite is actually different from regular Sprite. And I was watching a video where apparently McDonald's, they do something to their Sprite. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what they said they did, but there's something that McDonald's do to their Sprite is why it tastes different from regular Sprite. And I'm not going to claim to be a Sprite connoisseur, but I'm feeling there is definitely a difference between a McDonald's Sprite and a regular Sprite. I feel like I'm tasting the difference. The last time I had a Sprite was probably a while ago now, so I'm sure I'm not remembering exactly how it tasted, but it does feel like there is a difference between a regular Sprite and a McDonald's Sprite. One of these days, I might have to do a side-by-side. I might have to do a side-by-side and be like, okay, which Sprite is actually not necessarily better, because of course people prefer different things, but I might have to do a side-by-side and be like, but there is a difference. I feel like I'm pretty certain there's a difference in my in my amateur tasting experience. It's probably more sugar in the McDonald's Sprite. I'm guessing it's probably something like that. There was something they said they did. I can't remember what exactly it was, but it's something they said they did to McDonald's Sprite, and it's probably more sugar. It's probably more sugar. Anyway, excuse me. Oof, man, we've had a good run. We've had a good run. I still want to post the videos every day, the daily videos. I'm still challenging myself to post a video every day for 2025. I have a video recorded that should hopefully be ready for tomorrow or midnight. I did have an idea for another video. I can't remember what it was though. I can't. Yeah. But yeah, that's still the challenge, to try and post a video every single day for a year. I've made it through January, February, and now March. So that's what, 90 days, give or take. Let's see, 31 days for January, 28 days for February. So that's what, 59 days. And then 31 days for March. So yeah, 90 days. I have 90 days. And what day is it today? 1st of April today. Happy April Fool's Day. But I've got a video up for today as well. So 91 days. So I've done the 1st of April now. That video's up. So yeah, 91 days I've made so far. I am 9 days away from hitting 100 days in a row. I ain't gonna lie, it's been tough. It's been tough. I mean, I've got some stuff that I've recorded, but I haven't had time to edit. So hopefully I'll be able to edit those. Or more specifically, I haven't been able to edit because I use an AI editor, which helps with keeping up with all this stuff. But the AI editor has a 10-hour limit per month. And usually that's plenty, right? Usually it's plenty of time. But I made a mistake of, well, let's not call it a mistake because I did it deliberately. But I ran a podcast through it, like a 3.5-hour podcast through it, to see if it would do something that I thought it might do, and it didn't do it, at least not particularly well. But because I ran a 3.5-hour podcast through this AI editor, it counted towards my 10 hours, which ate up a lot of my my time limit for the month. and it meant that I had stuff that I hadn't recorded yet, but you know, I've run out. I've pretty much used up my time limit for the month, but that's restarted. At least that should have restarted because they billed me again. They billed me again today, so that should be restarting for this next month going ahead, which means I've got a new 10 hours now. And then I to just run that through and edit. I mean, I can edit it manually, but it's long editing manually. And the AI editor edits good enough for what I do. I mean, it's not perfect, and you still need to go through it and tweak a few things where it messes up a bit, but it just saves so much time. Like even the fact that I got to tweak it afterwards, I'd rather do that because it still saves time. Like if I had to edit it myself, I could be spending like hour, 2 hours doing stuff, doing the editing maybe, and some of these things. Whereas using this, it's like 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like I run it through, that's like a few minutes, then I just go over it, and that's maybe like another 10, 15 minutes, sometimes even less than that. So yeah, well, I don't think AI's taking over. I don't think it's taking over, but it's certainly helping. I think we're a long way away from AI replacing people. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Excuse me. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm not wrong. Hopefully we're a very, very long way from AI replacing people. But it is a useful tool. And I do find I use a few different AI tools more and more in recent times, like ChatGPT, Gemini. I use those quite a lot. I find them really useful for finding things out. It's still worth checking, right? It's still worth double checking certain things because they can make mistakes, they can get things wrong, and they have gotten things wrong. In my experience, and it's certainly far from being something you can completely 100% rely on. You definitely should double check some things. But yeah, they are useful for finding stuff out and at least pointing you in the right direction. Like if you're not sure about something it produces, if it asks it something and you're not sure about the answer it gives, it generally at least points you in the right direction to find out a bit more. And you can be like, okay, it's what I'm trying to get. Ugh. Yeah. Here we are, man. Here we are, sitting in my car for the last scheduled live stream. For the last ever, well, I don't know about ever. Never say never, right? Never say never. But I think from here on out, it's just gonna have to be as and when I can do it. And whether that's once, it's probably not once a week, maybe once a month, once every couple of months, something like that. I'm guessing it could depend on various things. But yeah, life be changing, man. Life be changing. And when life changes, got to change with it. And for now, that means the scheduled live stream's got to come to an end. But hey, it's been a good run. It's been a good run. Yeah, it probably just more sugar. It's probably just more sugar. In fact, you know what? Let me see if I can find out actually, because I have a second phone. So let's see. What is the difference between McDonald's Sprite and regular Sprite? Let me spell it right. I'll put Sprint. Okay, so McDonald's Sprite tastes different than regular canned Sprite due to a higher syrup to water ratio, pre-chilled, filtered water, and a unique fountain dispenser, resulting in a sweeter, stronger, and more carbonated drink. Here's a more detailed breakdown. Syrup to water ratio. So yeah, more sugar pretty much. McDonald's uses a higher syrup to water ratio in their Sprites compared to canned or bottled Sprites. Pre-chilled water. McDonald's uses pre-chilled filtered water, which helps maintain better carbonation and a crisper taste. Unique fountain dispenser. McDonald's uses a fountain dispenser designed to deliver a precise ratio of syrup and carbonated water. Wider straws. McDonald's also uses slightly wider straws, which they claim allows the flavor to spread across the tongue better. That's interesting. Freshness. McDonald's receives Coke syrup in stainless steel tanks, ensuring the flavor stay fresh, as reported by the New York Times. Okay, so yeah, more sugar. There's other things as well, but the main one is basically more sugar. It's a higher, there's more syrup to water ratio than regular Sprite. I guess the question then becomes, why don't Sprite just use a higher syrup to water ratio? Or maybe they just don't want that much sugar in their drinks. I mean, I guess that makes sense. And I guess you also got to think of the fact that it's canned or bottled, and how that might affect certain things. I don't know. I don't know the science behind it, but yeah, basically more sugar in McDonald's Sprite than regular Sprite. Well, now we know. Now we know. Still, though, appreciate them getting me. They didn't have to do that. I didn't have to do that. So yeah, appreciate that for these guys getting me a little Sprite drink I could sit down and chill with. And now here we are. Here we are. Oof, wow. Wow. What a day. What a day. So, just think of what else been happening today. It's April 1st, which means the tax year is ending soon. It's ending on the 5th, or is it the 6th? I think it's the 5th of April it ends. And then the 6th of April to start the new tax year. I think that's how it goes. But here's the thing, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I know it's boring talk or whatever, but there's a lot of people out there who've overpaid their taxes, especially people who are employed. You know, if you're working full-time employed, or even part-time employed actually, but if you're employed somewhere, there's a good chance you're overpaying your taxes, right? And if you don't know, now you know. So talk to your HR department, get a P60, is it a P45? I can't remember which form it is, but it's a form that basically that shows you how much tax you paid over the year. It shows you how much you've been paid over the year and how much tax you've paid over the year. And what you then need to do is take that figure and compare it to how much you should have paid over the year. You need to find out how much you should have paid. And if you're finding that you've paid more than you should have, which you probably would be, claim it back. Don't rely on the government, on HMRC, to give you an automatic tax rebate. It doesn't always go that way. Most times it doesn't. Like sometimes you get lucky and it does, and it's great, cool, but more time you don't, and you'd have to claim it back. And I think I read somewhere that there's like millions of pounds or something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but it was a high number of tax that just went unclaimed. You know, like so much tax went unclaimed. And so much like tax is supposed to go back remained unclaimed. I don't remember what the exact number was, but it was a big number. So yeah, don't rely on any kind of automation. It might not go that way. Make sure you're claiming your tax back. Make sure you're checking how much tax you paid versus how much tax you should have paid, and then claim it back. And for the self-employed people, you can still overpay your tax. It's less likely when you're self-employed because you're kind of managing it all the time. but it's still possible to overpay your tax, so make sure you're checking that too. And also for the self-employed people as well, you have up until January to pay your tax, right? Here's the thing though, you should still file your tax in April. Like, don't wait till January to file it. File it in April. Don't pay it till January, right? You don't pay it till January, but file it in April. The reason why you want to file it early is because you want to know exactly how much tax you need to be paying by January, right? So file it in April. That's going to tell you how much tax you owe, and then you have up until January to actually pay it. So file it now. Don't pay it till January, but file it now so you know. Because if you're not filing it till January, and then you file it in January, it tells you owe this much tax, and you're not prepared in terms of like, oh, how much money do you actually have towards it? You know what I'm saying? So like, file it now, yeah? You know how much you owe now, and then by the time January comes around, you can prepare for that by making sure you're saving enough for that tax bill in January. So anyway, like I say, that's a boring talk. Nobody wants to hear that stuff. I know, nobody wants to hear that stuff, but there are people out there either overpaying their tax or not prepared for it, and it's just simple things you could do. But anyway, let me leave that alone for now. Leave that alone for now. But might have to do a video talking about budgeting actually. Nobody wants to hear this stuff. Nobody wants to hear this stuff. Trying to help you. Trying to put a little more money in your pocket. Trying to help you have more money without necessarily having more money. Because that's the thing as well, by the way. I know I was going to leave it alone, but another thing comes to my mind. You can have more money without necessarily having more money. And a lot of it just comes down to understanding how things like taxes work. You don't need to be no financial expert, tax expert or nothing. You just need to understand basically how they work. You know, budgeting as well. You know, budgeting is so important. Like when you get your pay each month, or when you're doing your if you're self-employed, just going through what you've earned each month or whatever, budgeting is so important. Like making sure you're putting away money for certain things, have separate money pots. Don't keep all your money in one bank account. That's a bad idea, regardless of, especially if you're self-employed. But anyway, even if you're not self-employed, it's just a bad idea. Have separate accounts, or at least separate money pots if your bank allows. If you've got a bank account like Monzo, where you have separate pots, that way you can have a pot for your casual spending. You can have a pot for certain savings or certain things that you need to put money towards. You know, things like house repairs or stuff like that, putting money towards that, or, you know, dental checkups, or just little things. You can have so many, you can just set separate pots and just put a little bit of money in each of these pots over a time. And that way, when something happens, because something is going to happen, and then it's like, oh, you've got money towards it already. You don't need to worry about having to find the money now, because you've already been putting money towards it, you know. So yeah, man, having separate pots, budgeting, you know, just learning about taxes, things like that, just simple things like that. And I know it sounds complicated, but trust, it's simple. It's not hard. It's not. Listen, I'm not like genius person. I'm just regular guy, you know. And I feel like if I can do it, it's not like I've got any kind of special, you know, finance qualification. Nah, man, like it's just stuff that you just like look up. And I was able to do this before ChatGPT, you know what I mean? I was able to like figure this out before ChatGPT just by looking online. So the fact that you've got ChatGPT now, Google Gemini now, all these AI things, I trust. You can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. Is what I'm saying. If I could do it, you can do it. You know, like it's just learn a little bit about taxes, learn a bit about budgeting. You know, putting money aside, things like that. Make sure you have your fun money as well. Don't be all out here like denying yourself everything and you can't have this, you can't have that. No, that's not what it's about. That's not what it's about. You know, it's just understanding that you put in money aside from however much you get paid. You got your bills covered. You've got all your kind of things that you need to cover for the month, food, things like that, groceries, whatever. But then outside of that, you're like, okay, this amount of money goes towards this amount of money goes towards that, this amount, and you just have, even if you're only putting like £1, £2 in each individual pot, that's not the point. It's not about putting £100 here and £1,000 there. That's not the point. The point is you just put in what you could afford, bits and bits aside into different spending pots or different pots for different things. That way, eventually, when something happens, even if you don't have enough money to cover the whole thing, you at least got something towards it, and it just makes it that much easier. Like if you're putting away £5 a month for, I don't know, house repairs or whatever, for example, house maintenance, and then let's say, I don't know, you have a table that breaks, like one of your tables breaks, and to replace the table is going to cost £100. Okay, you don't have £100 in that house repairs pot just yet. Maybe you only got £5 in there because it happened like the following month or whatever. But it's £5 that you don't have to worry about. It's like, okay, now you only need to come up with £95 instead of £100. It just makes things that much easier. Yeah, it might not be the big bucks. It's not always about the big bucks. It's just about making things a little bit easier for yourself by putting a little bit aside in different parts, in different accounts, so that when things happen, and things do happen, you've just got that little bit there for it. And looking at things like taxes and not just relying on everything to be automatic, because not everything is automatic. Not everything is automatic. And trust, if you're working and you're not claiming back your taxes each year, by the way, you can claim back up to 4 years. I think it's might be 3 or 4 years. I don't remember. You can claim back a few years. But if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving money on the table, and it doesn't always happen automatically. It doesn't. I know this because I've had times where it happens automatically, and I was like, oh, it's cool. I don't have to worry about it. But then when I realized, then, you know, it was like years and years go by, you never got one. It's probably years that I can't do nothing about it now because it's too late. But I was realizing that, wait a minute, when I started doing, I realized this actually when I started doing my when I started being self-employed, and I was doing my taxes, and I was like, wait a minute, this is and I realized that actually you can't claim back. I mean, it doesn't always happen automatically, and I was able to claim back the last 3 or 4 years, or however what the total the maximum was at that time. But that let me know that it doesn't always happen automatically. Like you have to claim it back. You have to claim it back. So yeah, if you don't know, now you know. Get your money. Go get your money. It's April now, so yeah, get your P45 or P60. I don't remember which form it was. I haven't been employed with a job for a long time now, so I don't know which form that you need to get. But it's either P45 or P60. One of them they give you when you leave the company. when you no longer work there, that's one is they give you one form, and then the other one is what you get each year. It's basically your tax summary. I think it's P60. I feel like it's the P45 is when you leave the job, but P60 what you get each year. But anyway, whichever form it is, get that. Whatever they call it, doesn't matter what they call it. Just get that form from your HR department. Get the last 4 or 5 years of it as well, just to what the maximum is, and claim back as much as you can. Oof. Anyway, mini rant. Appreciate the likes, guys. Appreciate the likes. Got 2 likes for this final live stream. Well, final scheduled live stream. Sitting in my car rambling about taxes. Why not? But yeah, man. Been doing some gardening. Growing tomatoes and peppers. And they're going okay. Like we had to transfer them from the indoors to the outdoors. So we started out in the indoors and in pots indoors, then transfer them to outdoors. They're outdoors now. And in the transfer process, yeah, I feel like I probably killed a few. I feel like I probably killed a few in the transfer process. Some of them seem to be doing okay. Well, most of them seem to be doing okay, I should say, actually. But yeah, it's definitely a few where I'm looking at them now like, yeah, I think I killed a few on the transfer process. Especially some of the peppers, they're not looking too healthy right now, but most of them seem to be fine. Also what to do as well, because we're April now, so maybe come end of April, like maybe last week in April, I want to try and plant some just straight outside. So rather than starting indoors and then taking them outdoors, I want to start them outdoors and see how that goes. What was that? Yeah, just to see. I mean, I don't know if it matters. It shouldn't, I guess, as because the weather should be hopefully pretty good. But then what I'm reading is about sort of late April, May is a good time to do it. The only thing is I'm not sure if I want to use a flower bed or if it's worth me getting like a planter, like a trough for it, because the flower bed is like in the ground, right? I mean, we have a raised flower bed as well, but the flower bed I was thinking as well, it's actually in the ground, and it'd be harder to do things. I mean, I could dig up a bit and put things like bone meal in there and some fertilizer in the soil and stuff like that. So that shouldn't be a major issue, but I guess it'd just be harder to control a little bit from doing it in the ground. But I don't know, maybe I don't need to. The only other thing, but the main thing is like getting a net over it, because like I got some netting, but the netting is so complicated. I feel like what I need to probably do is cut it down. Like actually just get the net in and like actually just cut it down, because it's so big. I thought I was buying, I'm pretty sure I bought the smallest netting they had. Like I feel like I was in the B&Q the other day and I was looking at the netting and I feel like I bought the smallest one they had. And then it's massive, like it's actually huge. I'm like, did I read it wrong or I don't know. But anyway, the netting is huge. So I probably just need to open it all out and just cut out what I actually need, and then just use that and then roll up the rest and save it for another thing. I think that's probably the best thing to do with it, because it is massive. Like it's actually huge. It is actually huge. And it's just difficult to like manage with the whole thing, because like you're trying to hold it down on one side and it's folding over and the wind's blowing and all that. So it's like, yeah, it's just long. It's just long. So I don't know, maybe it's best to get like a covered flower bed, because you can get flower beds that have like a cover over it, and you just lift it up to water it if you need to or whatever. Maybe it's best to get something like that. But and they'll be raised as well, so they'll be off the ground, so you don't have to worry too much about. Well, I mean, you always have to worry about bugs, but you don't have to. I guess you don't have to worry too much about birds, and especially with the tomatoes as well. Once the tomatoes start coming in, you might get birds trying to eat them. The peppers, you generally don't have to worry too much, just because peppers are somewhat of a natural pesticide. A lot of like insects and things and stuff like that, they avoid peppers anyway because of the spice. Same with like coffee. Like a lot of animals would, a lot of insects and animals tend to avoid those things because the caffeine's not good for them. So there's certain things that kind of natural pesticides themselves. So the peppers you don't have to worry too much about, but the tomatoes, once they start growing in, and yeah, you're gonna want to make sure like birds aren't getting to them and stuff like that. So yeah, just put either netting, which is just mad cumbersome to use, or I don't know, get like a raised bed with something that has a cover over it, and then you could just use that. It's probably easier. That's probably easier. Man, who would have thought I'd take an interest in gardening? I wouldn't. I'd never thought that. But you know what though? Like I don't even think of it as like I take an interest in gardening. I mean, certainly don't hate it. And there's definitely a joy or a sense of joy that comes from doing something and knowing that you did something that's that it grew and it's grown, or you convert, like for example, like the composter. Like I got a composter a few months ago, a tumbler composter, and just recently took the compost out one of the sides. It's like two sides to it, so you and anyway, so like been putting stuff inside on one side, and then the other side just kind of left it and just been spinning it every now and then, and I thought I had to put worms in there, so I was putting worms in there a little while ago. It turns out you don't have to put worms in the composter, not for a tumbler composter anyway, because more the aeration and the spinning that it requires. But anyway, the other day, the one side of it where the compost was ready to come out, so got like a trough, put it underneath, and then took it all out, and I was like, yeah, it's actual soil in there. Like, it's actual soil that you will buy in the shop. I mean, it's not the same soil you buy in the shop, because that's cleaner. The soil you buy in the shop is much cleaner, but it's soil, like it's actual soil that you can use. It just needs to be maybe cleaned out a bit, because there's kind of bits of plastic and some other stuff in there that needs to kind of come. They don't need to, but it's best they come out. So it needs to be cleaned out so we can do that. But it's pretty much soil that you can use. And I'm like, yo, okay, I don't make the soil. I'm not saying that. I'm not, nature did that. God did that. I know that. But it's more like I was able to do something that assists in nature doing what it needs to do to create the soil that you can then use. And the other day I made bone meal, actually. Like, bone meal is a fertilizer. And I made bone meal from bones, from actual just getting bones. In fact, I made a video that hopefully I can put that video up soon. But yeah, I made a video of making bone meal, and I haven't used it yet. It came out. There's not that much. I mean, I don't know if I'd do it again. It's kind of a long. It's not hard, but it's a long process. It's kind of a long process. I don't know if I'd do it again, because you can just buy bone meal for like a £5. you can buy a whole box of it for like £5. It's not that expensive. But I don't know, if I were to do it again, I guess there's a few things I'll probably keep in mind, like, maybe have more bones to use and that kind of thing. And what else? Yeah, I mean, I guess the drying out was fine, and boiling the bones were fine. I definitely won't use thicker bones, because I'd used a few. It's mostly chicken bones I was using, and chicken bones I think are good for. I mean, you can use any bones for bone meal, by the way. You can use any kind of animal bones. It don't matter. It's fine. But because I'm doing it at home, and I don't have like industrial strength, stuff like that, it's best to use smaller bones, is what I'm saying. So chicken bones I think are good, because they're smaller and they were good. Or maybe rabbit bones or fish bones, things like that. Any kind of small animal bones I think is good. But I did have some mutton bones in there, and the mutton bones I think were too thick for me to be able to kind of grind up. So yeah, in the end, I feel like if I was to do it again, I'll stick to just smaller animals, so like chicken, rabbits, fish, small animal bones like that, and just try and have more of them. The only thing is that I'm not going through that much chicken. Do you know what I mean? I like chicken, trust. I like chicken, but I'm probably not going through that much chicken to just have it. And you don't really want bones like just sitting there, because it starts to stink after a while, and you might start attracting other types of creatures if it gets a bit too bad. So you don't want to just have bones just like there, right? Just hanging around and doing nothing, or while you're collecting them. So it's a bit of a thing where it's like, how many bones are you going through just to make bone meal, and how long is it going to take to get enough bones to have a substantial amount? And then in that time, you just got these bones just sitting in your kitchen, just stinking up the place. So yeah, it's this kind of a thing where it's like, is the whole process worth it? Where you could just buy bone meal for like £5. You know what I mean? Just go down to your local supermarket or whatever. They'd have a gardening section. You know what I mean? You don't even go to like a specialist gardening store. You literally, most, if not all supermarkets that have a gardening section, just go there, and it's like, yeah, it's £5 for a whole box, and it's like, yes. So it's not hard to do, but it is a long process, and because of that, I don't know if it's a process that's worthwhile doing. You could just get it for a £5, but it's good to know how to make things nonetheless, even if you don't do it. Like if I never do it again, the fact that I know how to do it, I think is a good thing, because you never know. Like, you may find yourself in a situation where you might have to make your own bone meal. You never know, right? I mean, I don't plan on being in certain situations like that, but who knows how life would go, right? So it may come to a point where one day I might have to make my own bone meal, and now I know how to do it. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, man, that was what else? Oh, I made hot sauce as well. So a friend of mine got married. A couple of friends of mine got married. And as they got married to each other. It's just not separately. They got married to each other. And so they sent out the invites, and the invite was like, yeah, on the gifts it said, we appreciate that some people might want to buy gifts, but it's okay. We have everything we need. But if you'd like to make a donation to our honeymoon, then you can do that. But you don't need to get us any gifts. That would say you don't need to get any gifts. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me send me a little donation thing. I could do that. Okay, man's got beer money in it. nah, it ain't like that. But I thought, yeah, I could send him a little thing. I could send him a little thing. But you know what? I still want to get them a gift. But since they're saying they got everything, I'm like, all right, bet. Let me figure something you ain't got. So that's what I did. And I made hot sauce. Because I've made hot sauce before, so I know I've been making a hot sauce. Well, I haven't done it for a little while now, but I've made hot sauce a few times before, so I know how it's done. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna make them some hot sauce. And the only thing though I'd say is that I thought it was gonna be, because I put in I said to them, yeah, it's gonna be real hot. When I gave it to them, I said, yeah, be careful with this sauce, it's really hot. That's what I said to them. But the thing is, I made it during the time when I couldn't really test it myself because I was fasting, right? So I thought I was making it really hot. So I actually thought I was making it really hot. But when I got to a point where, I could have some myself now, because it was a whole batch that I made. When you make it, you know what I mean? You can't, it's not just one bottle. So I was like, cool, there's one I'm going to give to them. And I had some in my house. So I was like, cool, I could try myself now. I'm not fasting no more. I could try myself. And I was like, actually, this isn't as hot as I thought it was going to be. It's not. But I mean, he said he liked it though. Like, I got a message from the groom, and he said he enjoyed it. So I'm like, all right, cool. At least they liked it. That's the main thing, really. And maybe it's best that it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be, because you know what I mean. It might be one of them things where it's like, yeah. So maybe that's for the best, and it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be. But I still feel like, but I want to make him another one. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I know what I did. I feel like I know what I did. Why it didn't come out as hot as I thought it was going to be, and it's down to some of the peppers that I used. Because there's certain peppers that you use more for the flavor, and there's other peppers that you use for the heat. So there's different types of peppers. And the ones I was using for the heat, I didn't realize they're not as up there with than some other peppers. And I think that was the mistake that I made. So the flavor is fine in terms of how it tastes. It came out great, in my opinion. I felt like it came out pretty great as far as the taste goes. But of course, I'm a bit biased. But the heat level wasn't quite where I wanted it. Well, it was quite a bit lower than I wanted it. So it does have a kick. I ain't gonna say it's not like super. I'll say it's mild. Maybe yeah, I say it's mild, but it does have a kick. You can still feel a little spice in there, but it does have a little kick. But I wanted to have a boot. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to have like a massive boot to it. So yeah, next time I know what I'm gonna do, because I know what I'm gonna do. So it's just, yeah, I have to switch out the heat peppers. So the peppers I use for the flavor, I'm keeping those. I think I'm gonna keep those because I like the flavor of those. But the peppers I use for the spice, I need to change those out and use different peppers. And yeah, I know which ones I want to use. Well, there's well, put it this way. Ideally, it'd be the Carolina Reaper. Ideally, it'd be the Carolina Reaper. But there's not too many places that sell Carolina Reaper peppers in the UK. I could probably find somewhere, if I look hard enough, that would import them. But then there's a case of how fresh would they be. And granted, you don't need it to be super fresh when you're making hot sauce. You don't need it to be super, super fresh. But also you don't want it moldy and just like manky from the flyover or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you don't want it like tainted or whatever. So yeah, we'll see. We'll say it. We'll say inshallah. We'll see. But anyway, if not Carolina Reapers, then Scotch bonnet. But either way, yeah. Either way. I know which peppers I want to use. So like one of those. Scotch bonnets are more common in the UK. They're more commonly obtained, I should say, in the UK. Carolina Reapers, not so much. But we'll see. Next time when it comes to making it, inshallah, we'll see. But for now, it's like, all right, cool. And maybe for hopefully, hopefully I'll see them again. I mean, they're people that I've known for a long time. Growing up, see them like all the time because they got their lives, people doing their own thing, and this and that. So that's fine. It just is what it is. But hopefully next time I'll be like, yeah, that's like one I gave you. I ain't gonna lie, man. It wasn't as hard as I thought it was gonna be. So try this one instead. Try this one instead. But anyway. But yeah, man, I did make a video for the pepper as well, so hopefully that'll be up soon. Look out for that in the next few days. But yeah, man, I think the one thing I changed, I know most of it I'll keep the same, but I know I'm gonna change. And then we'll see from there. But yeah, man, that I think is gonna be where we wrap up. Start winding down for the last live stream, the last scheduled live stream. Maybe not ever, never say never, right? But the last scheduled live stream for at least the foreseeable future. I think hopefully it's not the last live stream ever. Like I was trying to do one as I can, maybe whenever I can, once every couple of months, wherever I can. Inshallah, I would do that still. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to end the scheduled live streams and just play it by ear from now on. But we had a good run, I don't remember when I started doing the scheduled live streams, but it's been some years now. It's been some years, and of course there's been times where I've had to reschedule or cancel and things like that, but it seems like more and more lately it's been, even today, like I end up starting later, so it just seems like more and more lately it's like something's happening, I'm gonna reschedule, gonna cancel, gonna this, gonna stuff. But you know what, let's just call it. I think it's time to call it. Life's clearly changing, and not for bad reasons, by the way, just to be clear. It's not bad reasons, but it's just life changes, responsibilities change, priorities change, and I enjoy doing these live streams, but at the same time it's like when it's coming at the expense of other things, or when it's just getting to a point where it's like, yeah, you're canceling so much or rescheduling so much that, you know what, let's just let it go. And but yeah, I don't know where the next one would be, but we'll see. But for now, appreciate you guys for joining in. I've had a few regulars over the years. Some people haven't been regular for a while, but that's all good. I get it. Life changes, right? Life changes for you. Life changes for me. So some people were regular at one time, not so much now. I get it. It's fine. But I appreciate anybody who's ever come to any of my live streams for a little bit or a lot of bits. I appreciate you guys. Anybody who's made any comments, everybody who's made any click that like button, everybody who's kicked me over a few bucks in a donation, I appreciate you. But yeah, I think this is, well, I'm not even thinking, I know this is time to say goodbye to the scheduled live streams. So I don't know when the next one's gonna be. We'll see, or not. But until then, until whenever, if ever, I know I say that a lot, but I guess it's more so now than ever, right? Whenever, if ever. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being, thank you for joining. No, how do I end these things? I don't even know. I appreciate you and all that you do. Thank you for keeping me company. Thank you for keeping it lively. And until whenever, if ever, peace.